Living alone can be a beautiful thing. There's peace, freedom, the comfort of your own rhythm, the way you like your coffee, the channel you watch the news on, the quiet in the afternoon when the sun hits just right through the kitchen window. That kind of independence? It's not just a gift, it's a triumph. Especially after 60. You've earned your space, your choices, your voice. But I want to ask you something gently. Have you ever had that moment, maybe late at night, when the house creaks a little and your mind starts to wander? Or maybe when you misplace your phone and for a second you wonder, what if something happens and I need to call someone? You're not scared really, but there's a little whisper of worry in the back of your mind. It's completely natural, and you are not alone in feeling it. See, living alone in our golden years is different from when we were in our 30s or 40s. Our needs shift, our pace changes, and that's not a bad thing. It just means we need to adjust the sails a bit to keep cruising safely. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today: how to stay safe, confident, and fully in charge of your life when you live alone. Now, before we go any further, let me say this. This isn't about being fearful. This is about being empowered. About making smart, doable choices that make your life easier, safer, and even more enjoyable. So if you're watching this, pour yourself a cup of tea, get cozy, and know that this time together is all about you, your well-being, your independence, and your peace of mind. Let's start with something simple but incredibly important. Have you ever gotten up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom or grab a glass of water, and the room was just a little too dark? Maybe you stumbled a bit or bumped into a table you swore was farther away. It happens to the best of us. But nighttime navigation is one of the most overlooked safety hazards for folks living alone. One small change can make a world of difference here. Motion sensor night lights. I know, it sounds like something out of a fancy hotel, but they're inexpensive, easy to plug in, and they work like magic. You walk by, and the soft light comes on, guiding your way without the shock of bright overhead bulbs. Whether it's the hallway, the stairs, or the bathroom, this kind of gentle lighting can help prevent falls. And it's those little stumbles that often lead to bigger issues we want to avoid. And I'm not just saying that because it sounds good. A dear friend of mine, Helen, she's 74 and full of spunk, told me how she slipped on her way to the bathroom one night. Nothing major, thank goodness, just a bruise and a bit of a scare. But it was enough for her to go out the next day and pick up 3 night lights. Best $20 I ever spent, she told me, laughing. And she meant it. Sometimes the smallest things offer the biggest comfort. Now, while we're thinking about little habits that make a big impact, I want to bring up something else. It's something many folks don't think about until it's too late. Locks. I can already hear you. Of course I lock my doors. And I believe you do. But it's not just about if your doors are locked. It's about how they're locked. Standard door locks might be enough when you're living in a busy household, but when you're alone, it helps to have that extra layer of protection and peace of mind. Reinforced deadbolts, a simple doorbell camera or peephole, even a little door jamb bar for those extra quiet nights. These things aren't about being paranoid. They're about giving yourself that confidence to sleep a little easier, knowing you're covered. I remember my neighbor Joe, he's 82 now and still sharp as a tack, telling me once how installing a doorbell camera helped him feel in the loop. Not only could he see who was at the door, but he said it made his kids feel better too. They can check the app anytime, he said, and see that I'm doing just fine. And that's the beautiful part. Staying safe doesn't mean giving up your independence. It just means inviting a little support in smart ways. Speaking of support, if anything I've shared so far makes you nod your head or think, yes, that's something I should do, I'd love it if you could give this video a like, or share it with a friend who might need to hear it too. You never know how much that small gesture can help someone else feel seen and supported. You see, none of this is about overhauling your life or turning your home into Fort Knox. It's about simple shifts, just like putting on a seatbelt when you get into the car. You don't expect an accident, but you do it anyway because it keeps you safe. That's what we're doing here, buckling up for the journey ahead so you can keep enjoying the ride. And I want you to remember this: living alone doesn't mean being alone. You have a community here and we're walking through this together, one thoughtful step at a time. Let's keep going, shall we? After we talked about night lights and door locks, I started thinking, so much of safety really just comes down to being proactive. Not anxious, not overly cautious, just smart and steady. Like laying out your clothes the night before or keeping a shopping list on the fridge. It's all about staying one step ahead without letting it feel like a chore. And that brings me to something I wish more people talked about, the power of staying connected. When you're living alone, it's easy to fall into the rhythm of solitude. You wake up, make your coffee, maybe go for a walk or read the paper, and before you know it, the day slips by without a single real conversation. Now, don't get me wrong, solitude can be a beautiful thing. But connection? That's where the real safety net lies. Let me tell you about my Aunt Ruth. She's 79 and lives alone in a cozy little house with a garden she absolutely dotes on. For a while, she didn't really check in with anyone regularly. Said she didn't want to bother anyone. But one winter, she slipped on the ice just outside her back door. Nothing too serious, thank goodness. But it was cold and she was alone and she couldn't quite get herself up right away. She was out there for almost 20 minutes before a neighbor happened to see her. After that, she started a little routine. Every morning by 10 a.m., she sends a quick text to her daughter or calls her neighbor across the street. Nothing dramatic. Just a, "Good morning, all's well." And if she doesn't check in, someone knows to reach out. That tiny habit, that 2-second connection, made her feel safe without feeling watched. Just cared for. So maybe ask yourself, is there someone you can do that with? A friend, a neighbor, even a grandchild who loves texting? You don't need a whole phone tree, just one person who knows your rhythm and would notice if something was off. That small lifeline can make all the difference. And while we're on the topic of people and routines, let's talk about something that might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but I promise it's worth bringing up. Scam calls and strangers at the door. It's frustrating, isn't it? The phone rings, and it's someone pretending to be from the bank or the IRS or telling you you've won some kind of contest you don't even remember entering. And they always seem so polite, until they start asking for personal information. It makes your skin crawl. And unfortunately, these scammers often target seniors living alone, thinking they'll catch you off guard. Here's the truth, it is not rude to hang up. You do not owe anyone your time, your kindness, or your information, especially if something feels off. Trust that little instinct inside you. You've lived a full life. You know what a genuine call sounds like. And if it doesn't feel right, just hang up. Or better yet, don't answer unknown numbers at all. Let them leave a message. Real people will always call back. I remember Mr. Patel down the street. He's 83 and sharp as ever, telling me he bought himself a little phone with caller ID and even had a note taped to the wall that says, "No info over the phone." That was his shield. He said it gave him confidence to stay polite but firm. If they're real, they'll write me a letter, he told me. And he's right. Most legitimate business still goes through the mail, not some guy calling you from who knows where asking for your social security number. And if someone comes to your door, same rule applies. You don't need to open it just because they knocked. If you didn't expect someone, peek through the peephole. Talk through the door. Ask them to leave a flyer or come back another time. You are not being rude, you are being wise. And wisdom is something you've earned, my friend. Honestly, the more I talk to people our age, the more I realize how powerful those instincts are. We've been through so much. We've raised kids, built careers, taken care of others. And now it's time to take care of ourselves with that same dedication. You've still got so much life ahead of you. The goal here isn't to live in fear, but to live with clarity, with a plan, with peace of mind that you've thought it through, and you're ready for whatever comes your way. And if anything I've said here reminds you of your own story, or if you've got a little tip or ritual that helps you stay safe, I'd really love to hear it in the comments. This channel is more than just videos. It's a community. And you never know, your story might be the one that helps someone else feel a little more prepared, a little more understood, a little more hopeful. That's how we stay connected. That's how we keep each other safe. Not just through gadgets and tips, but through wisdom, experience, and care. You've got more of that than you realize. Now, don't go anywhere just yet. We're just getting started. Let's keep this conversation going. There's more we can do to protect your independence and keep your home and heart safe. It's funny, when we were younger, we were always told to be careful. Don't run too fast, don't talk to strangers, look both ways. And we rolled our eyes, didn't we? Because back then it felt like the world was ours to explore. But now at this stage in life, that phrase, be careful, carries a whole new kind of wisdom. Not because we're fragile, but because we value our time more. We understand how precious a good day is. How a small accident can interrupt the rhythm we've worked so hard to create. That's why today I want to talk about something that might surprise you. It's not about locks or lights. It's about your body. Specifically, your balance. Let me ask you, have you ever felt a little unsteady when standing up too fast? Or maybe you reached for something on the top shelf and had to catch yourself. Those moments are easy to brush off. I just got up too quick, or that chair leg wobbled. But those small wobbles? They're like warning lights on a car dashboard. They're not a sign of weakness, they're a sign to pay attention. Because the truth is, the number one reason seniors end up in the hospital isn't illness, it's falls. And most of those falls happen right at home. In rooms we know like the back of our hand. That's why building strength and balance, even just a little at a time, is one of the smartest safety decisions we can make. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and join a gym. Goodness no. You don't need fancy machines or loud music or spandex. What you need is about 10 minutes a day and a little bit of patience. My friend Larry, he's 77, and every morning he does something he calls the coffee pot stretch. While his coffee brews, he stands behind the kitchen chair, holds on, and does a few heel lifts, a gentle knee bend, a side step or two. That's it. Nothing fancy. But after a few weeks, he told me he doesn't feel that wobbly tilt anymore when he turns around fast. His posture's better and he even walks taller. All from what started as a way to pass the time waiting for coffee. That's the kind of thing I love. Small, simple habits that make a big difference. And balance isn't just physical, it's also mental. When you feel stable in your body, you feel more confident in your decisions. You're more likely to go out, visit friends, take a walk, enjoy the world around you. Safety isn't just about preventing harm, it's about inviting freedom. And I want to share this with you too. There are so many free resources online now made especially for seniors. Gentle balance exercises, chair yoga, guided movement videos that feel more like a conversation than a workout. And if you're watching this, you're already online. So why not try one? Just once. For you. And hey, while you're here with me, if this video is helping you feel more confident, or giving you ideas that you hadn't thought about before, I'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button and turn on the little bell. Not because I want to be another name on your screen, but because I want to walk this journey with you. Every new video is a chance to connect, to share, and to keep each other encouraged. You've already done the brave thing. You've chosen to keep learning. That matters. Now, let me gently shift us to something a little more practical, but just as important. It's the idea of medication safety. I know it's not the most exciting topic, but it's one of the quiet dangers we don't always think about, especially when living alone. Have you ever looked at your pill organizer and thought, wait, did I take that already today? Or had two prescriptions from different doctors and wondered if they really go together? It's easy to get mixed up. Labels are small, instructions get buried in paperwork, and sometimes our memory plays tricks on us. That's why having a system, your own system, can make all the difference. It could be a pill box labeled by day, or a small chart you keep on the fridge. Some folks even set alarms on their phone to remind them. The key is to make it yours. Something you trust, something that keeps you consistent. And if you ever feel unsure about a medication or a new prescription, don't ever hesitate to call the pharmacist. They are there to help. Really. I once knew a woman named Gloria, feisty and fabulous at 81, who would call her local pharmacy every time something didn't look or feel right. It's their job to answer my questions, she'd say, and I intend to keep them busy. She wasn't afraid to speak up, and because of that, she avoided a mix-up that could have sent her to the hospital. Her courage to ask simple questions kept her safe. You deserve that same peace of mind. No confusion, no second-guessing. Just clarity. And that's what this is really all about. Finding clarity in your space, your habits, your health. Not because you're afraid of something going wrong, but because you love your life enough to make sure it stays right. There's so much we can still do, still enjoy, still give to this world. Safety is just the quiet foundation that lets all those beautiful things happen without interruption. And you, my friend, are worth protecting. Every step, every breath, every moment. Let's keep this momentum going. We're not finished yet, and I've still got more to share with you. More ideas, more wisdom, more of that gentle encouragement we all need from time to time. Ready to keep going? Isn't it something how the more we talk about safety, the less it feels like some strict rulebook and the more it feels like kindness? Kindness to ourselves. Kindness to the people who care about us. Kindness to the life we've worked so hard to build. That's why I want to bring something up that might feel a little surprising at first. Fire safety. Now, before you think, oh, I haven't had a fire in my house in 50 years, hear me out. Fires at home don't usually start the way we imagine, like big dramatic blazes. They often begin with something small. A stove burner left on. A candle burning low. A space heater a little too close to the curtain. It's not about fear, it's about foresight. I remember my neighbor Eleanor. She was a wonderful lady, always baking something delicious. One evening she put on a kettle, got distracted by a phone call, and forgot the burner was on. By the time she remembered, the kitchen was smoky and the pot had scorched clean through. Luckily she caught it in time. But afterward she said something I'll never forget. She looked at me and said, I realized I've always assumed I'd remember everything the way I used to, but maybe it's time to make a few changes. Not because I'm old, because I'm smart. So, she bought a kettle with an automatic shut-off. Got a few smoke alarms installed, checked the batteries. Moved her candles to those little flameless ones that flicker just like the real thing. She even put a little reminder near the stove. When you leave the room, turn it off. Simple things but powerful. It gave her and her family peace of mind. And it's not just about the equipment either. It's about the layout of your space. Is there a clear path to the door? Do you keep a flashlight by the bed just in case the power goes out? Do you have emergency numbers written down somewhere easy to find? You see, preparation isn't paranoia. It's self-respect. It says, I'm important. My home is worth protecting. My life matters. And let's take a moment to talk about something that goes hand in hand with all this. Clutter. Oh yes, the little piles that sneak up on us. That stack of magazines by the chair, the boxes in the hallway, the laundry basket that never quite makes it back to the closet. Now, I say this with love, clutter isn't about being messy. It's about accumulation. Over time, we collect things, memories, items, projects, that start to take up more space than we realize. But when we're living alone, clutter can quietly become a safety risk. It blocks walkways. It hides hazards. It gives us more to trip over in the middle of the night. I once helped a friend named Harold reorganize his den. He had books stacked along the walls, extension cords across the floor, and a wobbly little side table that had seen better days. He wasn't messy, he was just surrounded by things he loved. But after a small stumble, he called and said, "You know, I think it's time I make this place easier to live in." So we made it an afternoon project. We put on some music, took a walk down memory lane as we sorted, and cleared out enough space to make his walking path wide and easy. We didn't throw out what mattered. We simply made room for safety. And wouldn't you know, it made his whole home feel lighter. That's what I want for you too. Not just a home that's safe, but one that feels calm, peaceful, uncluttered, not just in things but in worries. And remember, this doesn't have to be a big overhaul. You can start with one drawer, one corner, One little pile that's been bothering you. Bit by bit, you'll feel the difference. Not just in your home, but in your confidence. I know sometimes it can feel overwhelming, especially when you've lived in a place for years. These walls carry your memories, your stories. But the safest space is the one that allows you to move freely, see clearly, and breathe deeply. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to do it alone. Maybe there's a neighbor who would love to help, or a friend to sort through things with. Maybe a grandchild who can lend a hand and listen to your stories as you go. Let it be a shared moment, not a chore. Because these small acts of safety, they're really acts of love. Love for your independence. Love for your well-being. Love for the freedom to live comfortably, confidently, and joyfully. And if any part of this is resonating with you, I just want to remind you, it's never too late to begin. Never too late to say, you know what? I'm going to make that change today. Whether it's moving a rug out of the hallway, or ordering a smoke alarm, or simply letting go of something that no longer serves you, each step is a step forward. There's nothing small about that. It's powerful. It's beautiful. And you're doing more than just protecting yourself. You're inspiring others. Whether you know it or not, someone watching you make these choices, whether it's your children, your neighbors, or a friend from church, is learning what it looks like to age with strength and grace. That's a legacy worth building. Now take a moment. Breathe. Look around your space with fresh eyes. What's one thing, just one, you could do today to make it a little safer, a little easier, a little more peaceful? Hold that thought, because we're not quite done. There's still more to share. A few final reflections, a little encouragement, and a reminder that safety isn't an end, it's a beginning. As we've been talking, I keep thinking about something a dear friend once told me. She said, growing older isn't about slowing down, it's about becoming more intentional with your time, your space, your choices. And isn't that the truth? At this stage in life, every day feels more precious. Not because time is running out, but because we finally understand how much it matters. We know how sweet a quiet morning can be. How comforting it is to make tea in your favorite cup. How meaningful it is to hear from an old friend, or sit in your favorite chair and look out at the yard as the sun rises. It's the little things, isn't it? And that's why everything we've talked about matters. Not because we're living in fear, but because we're living on purpose. All these safety choices we've explored, making your home easier to navigate, staying steady on your feet, managing your medications with clarity, creating peaceful, fire-safe spaces, they aren't just checklists. They're acts of care. Little declarations that say, I love this life. I want to enjoy it for as long as I can, with as much freedom and joy as possible. Living alone doesn't mean you're alone. In fact, it often means you've stepped into a new chapter of independence. A time when your days are your own again, your choices fully yours. And with that freedom comes the gentle responsibility to look after yourself in the same loving way you've looked after so many others over the years. You've cared for children, partners, parents, neighbors, co-workers. Now, it's your turn. Your turn to feel secure in your space. Your turn to move without worry. Your turn to create a home that feels like peace. And if you've made it this far in the video, first of all, thank you. Truly. I'm honored to have spent this time with you, and I hope this conversation has felt like exactly that. A conversation. Just two people sitting together, talking through the little things that help make life better. Maybe something we talked about reminded you of a change you've been meaning to make. Or gave you a new idea you hadn't thought of before. Maybe it sparked a memory or gave you that little nudge you needed to say, I can do this. Because you can. Whether you're 60 or 95 or somewhere in between, there's always room for small shifts that make life safer, simpler, and more joyful. It might be something as simple as rearranging a few things in your hallway to clear a path. Calling your doctor to double-check a prescription. Asking a neighbor to install a brighter porch light. You don't have to do it all at once. You just have to start. And here's the thing. When you start doing these things for yourself, you'll start noticing how empowered you feel. How clear your days become. How much calmer you sleep at night. There's power in that. Not the flashy kind, but the quiet, steady kind that keeps showing up every day, choosing what's good, what's safe, what's wise. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to keep yourself safe, to create a home that honors who you are, and to keep growing, even now, especially now. Because aging isn't a decline. It's a refining. Like gold passed through fire, becoming purer, stronger, more beautiful with time. And if you found even one piece of wisdom in this video, one little spark that helps you or someone you care about, I'd be so grateful if you'd take a moment to like, comment, share, or subscribe. Not just for me, but for every other senior who's looking for guidance and might stumble across this video because you helped it reach them. Drop a comment if you feel like sharing what you're doing to stay safe at home. You never know who might read your story and find comfort, encouragement, or a new idea. We're all in this together after all. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to have you here. This channel isn't about flashy trends or noise. It's a space for real talk, gentle support, and the kind of wisdom that only comes with age. I'd love for you to be part of it. So as we close this conversation, I want to leave you with this. Your life has value. Your voice has power. Your presence in this world, right here, right now, is deeply important. Safety isn't about avoiding risk. It's about making space for the things you love. It's about staying well so you can laugh more, move freely, and continue making memories that matter. Here's to your well-being. Here's to your freedom. Here's to living your best life at any age. And remember, you are never alone on this journey. Not while we have each other. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep shining. You've earned every moment of joy still ahead of you.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It truly means a lot. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend or loved one who might benefit. And leave a comment below. We love hearing your thoughts and experiences. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest tips and uplifting advice for living your best life at any age. Now, if you're ready for more wisdom and encouragement, just click the video that's on your screen right now. It's packed with even more insights made just for you. Take care, stay positive, and we'll see you in the next one.